Let's start off with a journalism lesson, okay?
Yes.
Journalism 101. When you're writing a newspaper article, that thing, newspapers, that thing that we used to read, that we used to hold physically, used to fold and hold it in our hands. And yeah, exactly.
That's what people mean by above the fold, because this thing actually folded? Exactly. I get it now.
So when you're writing an article, you have your lead, you have your first sentence or first paragraph, draw the reader in. 2, 3, no more than 4 graphs in is what's called your nut graph. Your nut graph is basically the point. Your nut graph, some people say too long. Sometimes the lead and the nut graph are one and the same. It's your first paragraph. Sometimes just second. Yeah. But if you want to back somebody into the paint, it might be a third or fourth. But after that, you risk losing the reader. But your nut graph is basically...
That's the Wall Street Journal lead. Setup, anecdotal, and then bam.
Yeah. Your nut graph is typically it's the point, it's the summary. Is if the reader goes no further, they get the news. It's where the news is located. I say all that, Michael, to say this, that I have not read a nut graph quite like the one contained in today's explosive Washington Post report headlined, "Congress details allegations of Commander's quote-unquote unlawful conduct to Federal Trade Commission." All right? So, I'm just reading straight from the Washington Post. The Washington Commanders and owner Daniel Snyder, quote, may have engaged in a troubling, long-running, and potentially unlawful pattern of financial conduct, close quote, that allegedly involved withholding as much as $5 million in refundable deposits from season ticket holders and also hiding money that was supposed to be shared among NFL owners, according to a letter, which you see there, sent from the House Committee on Oversight and Reform to the Federal Trade Commission on Tuesday. Here's the nut graph. It gets better. The 20-page letter.
That could be, by the way, that could be a nut graph right there. That's it. Go ahead.
Because the nut graph, in short, is why Daniel Snyder about to lose his team. The 20-page letter, a copy of which was obtained by the Washington Post, freshly details allegations made by Jason Friedman, a former vice president of sales and customer service who worked for the franchise for 24 years. The letter says Freeman told committee members the team maintained 2 sets of books, including 1 set of financial records used to underreport certain ticket revenue to the NFL. The letter cites documentation that the team's financial improprieties may have extended to tickets registered in Commissioner Roger Goodell's name. It references evidence that it says indicates the revenue gained by the team through these practices was known internally as juice. And it details allegations that the Commanders improperly attributed such revenue to being derived through a Navy Notre Dame college football game at FedEx Field or a Kenny Chesney concert.
Kenny Chesney
so that it wouldn't be part of the NFL's revenue sharing pool.
Wow.
In a word, explosive. So it's not a matter of if, it's not a matter of when, because I can answer when, it's how soon. And it's only a matter at this point in my mind of how and to whom Daniel Snyder will lose his football team. Because they can turn a blind eye, look the other way, and sweep under the rug a toxic workplace culture, even though Congress, of course, this is what it came from, Congress is sniffing around that investigation, all right? They can have Daniel Snyder protect his at one point racist team name until he couldn't anymore. Now he has committed the cardinal sin, and that is you messing with the church's money and withholding money and ensnaring the rest of the NFL in improprieties and unlawful practices that have now got the attention of the Federal Trade Commission. So I think, Michael, you may have referenced this a couple of days ago. I think it was you. You compared it to getting Al Capone on tax evasion. Was that you?
Right.
In reference to this?
It was.
Yeah.
Yes.
That came to mind. I feel like we heard we brought that up on the show before. I don't know how Daniel Snyder continues to survive scandal after scandal, no matter how many bodies he knows where they're buried for the rest of his colleagues. But at some point, and that point feels like it's now, they're going to kick him up out of the club, as in this boys' club.
Okay, man. Yeah, maybe. But I think about all these movies, and I love scary movies. And I don't know if you are into them, but I really get into them. So these movies where, the villain, it's always the same thing. Yo, man, don't go in the basement. Don't go in the cellar. Don't go in the garage. Don't walk in the woods by yourself. Somebody does it anyway. They go down there. Homeboy's got a chainsaw. Homeboy's got an axe. And the villain lives. And you think you killed the villain? And the villain keeps coming back. Like, whole movie franchises are based on this. Like Halloween. You know that movie Halloween with Michael Myers? Like, Michael Myers was supposed to be dead the first time Jamie Lee Curtis killed him. But now Michael Myers is back. They always come back. These villains never go away. And Daniel Snyder is the villain in the movie that has part 2, part 5, part 12. He is the franchise. And so, yeah, Mike, I hear you. I agree.
But you ain't seen this before. You ain't seen this before.
I know. Look, this is Washington
different.
Post, you did a good job of explaining what the nut grab is to our listeners and to our viewers. Well, the Washington Post is not the first newspaper that had a damning nut grab. The New York Times had one, and the Boston Globe, and the LA Times.
Whoa, what does that got to do with the Washington Post?
Come on,
This
man.
is, wait a minute. Wait. Are you downplaying this?
What I'm saying is, I think it's everything that you say it is. I have lost my faith in the NFL to do something about Daniel Snyder, because Daniel Snyder has been a problem for a generation.
Okay,
and
I appreciate that.
He's done many terrible things, and yet you choke him. Okay, figuratively, all right, people, relax. All right, you choke him, try to choke him out. He's still coming back. Ooh, we got rid of him. Nope, he's coming back. And so, yeah, I know you can't mess with the league's money. You can't keep two
That's
books.
what I'm saying.
You can't.
So stop right there. Michael, this is like the allegations of financial improprieties came to light as the committee reviewed documents, interviewed witnesses in its inquiry of the team's workplace and the NFL's handling of the matter.
You think this dude's
you don't.
You think he's going to lose
no,
his
you don't.
team?
Michael, this is not the same as you don't have it. Clearly, if you're telling me, Michael, that you've seen Daniel Snyder come under fire before, and Daniel Snyder be a problem for the league, and nothing come of it. I understand that. From an imaging, from a branding standpoint, he's been a sore spot for the league for a while. But you're acting like this is the same thing that he's avoided consequences for before. No, it's not.
No, you're missing my point. I don't think it's the same. You're missing my point.
You said I've seen this movie before. You said I've seen this movie before. And I don't trust the NFL to police itself and get rid of Daniel Snyder. I'm saying this has been elevated, Michael. This has been elevated. This is not the same old. You now have the Federal Trade Commission, along with the House Committee on Oversight and Reform, looking into Daniel Snyder in a way that it hasn't before. Eventually, he's not going to be able to avoid accountability, and eventually, likely now, the league is going to say, this dude is a problem for us in a way that he hasn't been before. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I got you. Now, let me ask you this. Let's come right down to it. You said he's going to lose his team. You actually believe that?
I wouldn't have said it if I didn't.
And if so, okay, so when?
Soon.
When's he going to lose
I don't
his
know.
team?
I'm not saying tomorrow. I'm not saying next week. Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a rhetorical question.
Owner of the Washington, will he be the owner of the Washington Commanders during the 2022 football season? I think
I'm not in a position to say that. I'm not in a position to say the time frame. There's a process by which one loses his team. Okay, they have to vote him out. There's all kinds of steps. He'll probably fight it because he's litigious. Okay, so it's probably not going to be something that's quick, like as in tomorrow. And I'm not qualified to answer that. What I am saying is, this isn't typical Daniel Snyder problems. This isn't a racist team name. The toxic workplace culture was problematic enough to where it got Congress's attention. Now, come to find out, and they have evidence that he's cooking the books. So now the league is less inclined to protect him because he's withholding their money. All I'm saying is, like, he can't keep being Freddy Krueger, to go to your horror movie analogy. He can't keep being, eventually the franchise with Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees has to end. And this feels like the thing that will finally take down Daniel Snyder. It's just that explosive. And it's not, and what I was saying to you, this isn't about this isn't some news organization uncovering something through a months-long investigation, be it the New York Times or the Washington Post or anybody else. This is a letter from Congress that the Post obtained the contents to. So we can't minimize this as, oh, this is just another news story. This is Congress. This is the federal government that is up his ass.
I don't have,
and eventually he's going to be too much of a pain in his ass, in the NFL's ass.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a problem with the news organizations, nor do I have a problem in this case with Congress. My problem is with the NFL and its treatment of Daniel Snyder over the years. Now, yes, this is elevated, as you said, on a scale from 1 to 10. This is the 10, this is the 12. But my man's been he's been scoring pretty consistently in the 7 to 9 range for 20 years. And his last suspension, around this time last year, like I think it was around July 2021, where he got his latest, slap on the wrist from the NFL. The NFL said, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take $10 million from you. $10 million. We're going to let your wife, wink, wink, run the franchise. You're not allowed to talk about football. You can talk to your wife at home. You can do that. But you can't talk about Commanders business or Washington at the time, Washington football team business. And you can work on a new stadium, and then we'll circle back and see what it is. I mean, they've always looked at him. I know he's messing with their money, but you know what I can see? I can see them saying something like this. Roger Goodell, all right, hey, man, like, look, we got to call you out because this is just unacceptable behavior. We're going to fine you, X million dollars. We're going to put you on a repayment plan. You go give us our money back with interest, and let's say we're gonna suspend you for a year. I'd be shocked. He should have lost his team a long time ago. I'd be shocked.
Correct.
If Daniel Snyder lost his team. As a matter of fact, if he loses his team, I don't have an NFC team. That's gonna be my NFC team. If he's out, I'm down with the Commanders. Okay, I will just celebrate. That's
so. Just to recap, just so you understand that I understand what you're saying. I never missed your point. You're skeptical, and you're not going to get your hopes up, given how this league. Michael, I know we've had how many Daniel Snyder conversations have we had just in the existence of this show? I can repeat the branding that you've placed on him, the most protected owner in the NFL, if not all of sports. I know how. So I overstand what you're saying. I'm saying we ain't seen this before. We ain't got to this level with him. And at a certain point, chickens are going to come home to roost. And chickens coming home to roost never made me sad. In fact, it's only made me glad. I'm not an old farm boy myself, but I'm saying.
No, I was going to do it. No, I was about to do Elijah Muhammad's part. I was like, nah, I won't do that. I won't do that. What you said was very bad, very bad.
Smart move. Man. The country loved this man. Okay. At a certain point, I'm sorry, I'm a broken record at this point, but at a certain point, he's more trouble than he's worth. So for me, it may not be quick, it may not be swift, but if these allegations are true, and there seems to be plenty enough evidence to support it, coupled with the workplace misconduct investigation, that as much as the NFL wanted to make it go away, it has not. It already ensnared John Gruden. We know about that lawsuit. At a certain point, the NFL is going to have to start removing these problems one at a time, even if Daniel Snyder is going to be a problem. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. I just want
because think about how many wars they're fighting on multiple fronts between Flores and Gruden and 6 attorneys general. And the ongoing investigation into their investigation, to your point, their in-house investigation that they didn't release the findings of. They just told us there's nothing else to see here while Daniel Snyder quietly returns to power. Now there's this. Now you got and not only is there this is an inside job. If you're the other owners, other than trying to protect your own interest or protect Pandora's box from flying open at your expense, why are you going to keep protecting the guy that's withholding your money?
And the thing is, he's just so dirty, man. He's just so dirty. All of this
Exactly.
stuff is unnecessary. It's unnecessary. You talk about the NFL and how lucrative it is and how business continues just to get better and better I was going to say each year, but that kind of undersells it. Every 6-month period, business gets that much better in the NFL. You give the money, and we're talking about the money that he's holding on to, go ahead, give that money away give it away because that money is going to come back to you. It really is in a pool and it doesn't belong to you. And if you really are talking about shielding or laundering $5 million in a multi-billion-dollar league, you're just a criminal because you like doing criminal stuff. It doesn't really benefit you. It's not helping you build your wealth. You're going to be wealthy anyway with your association to the NFL. You've already made a great investment because you got into the league 20 years ago when franchise values were at let's say a level 3 and now they're at level 9. So why even do it? It's senseless on top of being dirty, it's senseless. It's not like he's really getting ahead with this. And I just want people to understand, like what you said earlier, you referenced it earlier in that Post article. So instead of accounting for the money that took place and the money that was brought in from an NFL game, he would put it under, say, Notre Dame and Navy. And then he'd take that money. Or he'd take money from people who were on a paid waiting list for season tickets, and they weren't going to come back and reclaim their money. He'd say, hey, don't worry about it. Don't reach out to them. Don't give them their money.
Can we just say that? He's just such a bad human being.
Right. Let's take the money, and then we're going to make it juice. It's a jack. That's what it's a straight jack, man. You put your money down, and it disappears. Look, I agree with you, Mike. It's bad. I've never seen it before in the NFL. Now it's on the NFL. What's the NFL going to do? Step up.
I think
Let's
they're
see
back
the
into a
NFL
corner.
step up. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.